Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm sports producer Scott Pennyman here, about to run through some maybe lots of big weekend tops. Big, huge sports weekend this week, all right? I'm not just talking about college football. Obviously, we're starting up SEC football season. UGA getting back to some SEC action. So we have some NFL football this week. Lots of NFL games going on. We'll talk about that a little bit. And, of course, Messi's coming to town this weekend, right, for Inter Miami as they'll play Atlanta United. So just a crazy sports weekend in the Atlanta area. So a lot of sports to talk about. Let's just dive right into it right now so we can get to it. So first off, let's start with some NFL. Last night, the Eagles beat the Vikings, and we all know what happened in the game. I kind of predicted it before the night started yesterday. Kind of predicted that the Eagles would win this game. The Eagles are a team. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. They're clicking on all cylinders, right? It's hard to find a team in the NFL right now better than the Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at what they have on both sides of the ball, when you look at Jalen Hurts and just how he's playing the quarterback position, playing such winning football right now, and that's all he's ever done, right? I mean, when you think about Jalen, his years in the SEC, winning at Alabama, going to Oklahoma, helping them get to the playoffs, and now that he's in the NFL, he's just such a winning quarterback. He has such a winning aura about him. Tough not to see the Eagles winning 13 or 14 games this season. So we talk about a winning quarterback like Jalen, and so on the other side, you got Kirk Cousins. And we talked a lot about Kirk yesterday on this show. Last night was pretty much quintessential Kirk Cousins. That game last night against the Eagles sort of bottles up everything we know about Kirk Cousins. He's the equivalent of an NBA basketball player that racks up tremendous stats game in and game out. A guy who averages 23, 24 points a game, gets 8 or 9 rebounds, 8 or 9 assists, stuffs the stat sheet, but never wins anything. And I'm talking game in and game out. That's Kirk Cousins. When you look at the end of a game and you look at the numbers that Kirk Cousins has, you go, wow, this guy's an outstanding quarterback. I mean, just look at the numbers from last night. 31 for 44. 364 yards and 4 touchdown passes. That looks like a really good game. But he's never playing winning football. They're 0-2, but somehow he's stuffed the stat sheet every game. That encapsulates Kirk Cousins' entire career up to this point. Lots of numbers. If he's your fantasy football quarterback, you're in good shape. But if he's your quarterback in reality, you're only going to be but so good. If Kirk Cousins is your quarterback, you probably will never experience a conference championship game, a Super Bowl. Like, the first round of the playoffs is your plateau. That's it. That's as far as you're going. It's because he doesn't have that winning gene, right? I just think the Vikings don't move on from him because the quarterback position is the most important position in professional sports. And so having a guy there who you feel sort of good about is better than having a guy there who you feel terrible about. So he's a guy who you know is going to hover around 500. Your football team's going to be okay. He plays competent quarterback, so he keeps a job. I don't understand it because I feel like at this point we know what he is and it's probably better to move on. But last night is quintessential Kirk Cousins. You're going to get big numbers. But when you watch the games, though, that's the key. When you watch the games, you see why he doesn't win. You see situations like 4th and 8, and he throws a 3 or 4 yard pass underneath and everything like that, or just makes poor decisions with the football when it matters most. And for that, I think he'll never win. So that's my wrap on that. So real quick now, so college football, UGA tomorrow plays their SEC opener against South Carolina. Once again, it's another week in which I expect them to take care of business. I don't expect South Carolina to provide much opposition for UGA in that one. Obviously, they haven't lost this season yet. Didn't really play a game where you thought they would lose. playing Tennessee Martin and playing Ball State. I expect UGA to run away with that game tomorrow. I mean, okay, I guess you could say it's their first real test because they are playing an SEC team. But it's not really a test because I don't think anyone thinks South Carolina is any good. They've already lost to North Carolina. This is a team that UGA blew the doors off of last year in their SEC opener at South Carolina. I expect similar play tomorrow. I expect their defense will shut South Carolina's offense down. And I expect them to win that game big. If you want me to predict the score, okay, I'll throw a score. Let's go 42-17 UGA. And I think that 17 points is going to be garbage time points. I think they'll get late in the fourth quarter type points. But UGA's defense is once again elite. It's one of the best defenses in the country. South Carolina probably won't be able to move the football very much, and they'll win that game tomorrow. No question about it. But it is the SEC opener, so it's always a big thing for UGA to start that SEC season, get things underway, and get ready to come out there tomorrow and play some football. But I don't expect much different from what we've seen so far up to this point. So we talked about just the different things coming to town this week, or just being in sports, period, if you're interested in Atlanta sports. And obviously the Falcons this weekend. You got UGA tomorrow. But Messi comes to town for Inter Miami as they play Atlanta United tomorrow at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Messi right now, he's sort of been cleared, so they say he will be available for the match tomorrow. Now, whether he'll actually get out there and play and run it down, that remains to be seen, but they said he's available. And just the spectacle that's been the entire week. I mean, I'm not the biggest soccer guy, I'll be totally honest with you, but just the buzz around Messi. I was with Atlanta United yesterday, and just the buzz around him coming to town and just what he's been for Inter Miami and for this country. He's really brought such a buzz that it's going to be such an event tomorrow. It's going to be more of an event than a soccer match, just because of what he brings to the table from an entertainment standpoint. He's done a great job on the pitch so far for them. So that should be really big tomorrow. Huge event, not just for soccer, but kind of a huge world event, because I heard him talking about the credentials they'll be passing out for media tomorrow. It's going to be a huge deal. A lot of media at that game. So that's something big for the weekend, obviously. So on CBS right here on Atlanta News First, after the SEC game, that UGA game is on CBS tomorrow, 3:30 start. And then right after that game is the season premiere of the SEC wrap-up show. We're going to have our sports director, Bailey Burmaster, is going to be a part of it. We're going to have Emily Gagnon from Athens sort of bringing you things. We're going to have Rennie Curran. He'll be back with his tremendous analysis, sort of breaking things down. And so it should be a really good show tomorrow. It's lots of guys, lots of people have been working really hard to put that thing together. So it's a big deal. Obviously, SEC football in this part of the country, it's a big deal. So SEC wrap-up show tomorrow, immediately following UGA versus South Carolina on CBS. So definitely be on the lookout for that tomorrow as we sort of season premiere. Gotta love best conference in the country, the SEC. So should be great to get that fired away and starting up tomorrow. So what's on my mind? NFL football on Sunday. Falcons back in action, hosting the Green Bay Packers once again over Mercedes-Benz. Man, it's a busy sports weekend here in Atlanta. It's crazy. But the Falcons, winners of their opening game last week, beat the Carolina Panthers. They'll be the Packers this time. Right? I mean, the Packers that's a really intriguing matchup as they will face Green Bay, because when you look at the dynamic on Green Bay, they have an inexperienced quarterback as well with Jordan Love. Desmond Ridder, both these two young quarterbacks won last week. Really sort of won in different ways. When you look at Desmond Ridder and how he won the game, more ball control, more depending on the resources around him, they won with good defense. Jesse Bates had a couple interceptions in that game. And then you look at Green Bay, you got Jordan Love threw 3 touchdown passes last week. Aaron Jones had an explosive game. He's questionable for the game on Sunday. So we'll see if he gives it a go. But it really should be an interesting test for the Falcons when you look at what they can do defensively. They have a strong secondary in Green Bay, so that's going to be a real test for Desmond Ridder. It's going to be a real test for the Falcons offense as a whole. So good game. A lot of reasons to watch a lot of sports this weekend. Like I said, you got soccer, you got college football, you got pro football, you got high school football tonight. Just so many different sports options. If you're a sports fan to keep an eye on this weekend, I'll let you get to it. That's been Sports Tonight on a Friday. Enjoy some good sports this weekend, and we'll see you right back here on Monday to talk about what you saw. Later.